The February budget and economic forecast has projected a surplus for the fiscal year ending June of next year of nearly $9.3 billion, an improvement of $1.5 billion since the last forecast in November. Jim Schowalter is the commissioner of the state's budget agency, and he joins me to talk about what this means. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks for inviting me.
At the budget presentation, you talked about how February forecasts in the past have been fairly simple affairs. You said a light update from the November forecast, but not so much these last few years. When the forecast was presented, Russia's invasion of Ukraine had only just begun. With more time for the implications of all of that to sink in, does this development change the forecast in any way?
Yes and no. I think one of the things that I tried to get through with that comment was that, there's a technical aspect to the forecast, which in years past, not the last couple of years, but in years past, you just look at Christmas sales, you'd look at end of the calendar year activity, you'd update the November forecast, and the legislature would have a good number to budget from. And what's happening is we've seen over the last couple of years, just constant changes, significant learning. And that doesn't stop on February 28th when we release the forecast. We're going to keep on learning about new things, be more optimistic, more pessimistic, almost on a daily basis. Challenge, of course, is, the legislature can't budget upon that roller coaster. The governor can't govern on that roller coaster, so we have a snapshot based upon that day. How do I feel right now? I feel about like I did on forecast day. There are some big questions out there. We're going to see how they go, and it'll probably take months, if not years, before we really know how they're going to work out.
So in a sense, this forecast is a blueprint for the state to do its business, and as more information becomes available, then we incorporate new information.
That's right. Sometimes people hope that the forecast is the answer. And it's like, no, it's the start, and judgment is important. And that's why, our elected officials have such tough jobs. They have to use that judgment to assess where we're at, what kind of risks they're willing to take, use their insight, and use the information that we're giving them.
The last time European governments faced this level of peril was World War II, and that is before most of us were alive. You studied economics and history at Macalester. You have extensive experience as a budget officer, both in the state of Minnesota and for the federal government. What could this conflict mean for Minnesota's economy from sort of a broader perspective?
This is an unusual question, and thank you for asking it. I think that's part of what we're going to be learning about. When the country's at war, or when there's a war in the world, sometimes we recognize it and sometimes we feel isolated. There have been wars going on across the globe for decades, and oftentimes it doesn't dawn on our consciousness, or it only affects certain communities and not others, and it doesn't become a geopolitical issue. I'm not sure that's right from just a human standpoint, but certainly the Ukraine and the invasion of Ukraine is one of those things that you can see all the dominoes, you can see all the possible impacts. So what does that mean as a Minnesotan? I think it means that we live in an interconnected world. We used to as well, but it's all the more so, and we can sort of see it more easily from Europe. We can see it more easily from some of the commerce and other issues. And we're going to be reminded that how we work together is important, that as much as individual action is important, it is the community and the community response that's been a bedrock in American history, and I think is going to be really important for how we respond going forward.
You said that the projected budget surplus is largely a one-time phenomenon. What has caused the state's coffers to become so full, and why is it just a one-time deal?
Well, it's not just a one-time deal. Certainly in November, we said there was some ongoing benefits, some ongoing revenues in excess of spending that we're projecting. This latest update was more one-time, and the answer is Minnesotans. Minnesotans have done a great job of adapting, thriving through the last couple of years. We had all appropriate worries 2 years ago, literally 2 years ago, when we started understanding that, what COVID was potentially could do, what it could do to our economy, it could do to our healthcare system, what it could do to individuals. We had an appropriate worry, and people have adjusted. Minnesotans have come through, thrived. Our incomes are up, our profits are up. We're buying more things. that's why our tax revenue is up. And it's because Minnesotans have adjusted. Doesn't mean everyone's done well, but it does mean on the whole, that things are better than we anticipated.
Well, and I guess to that end, Senate Majority Leader Jeremy Miller has said that the surplus is proof that Minnesota is collecting too much in tax revenue. And it makes the argument that there should be permanent ongoing tax relief coming out of this surplus. Is the state collecting too much money?
I think obviously that's why elected officials go have the fight. I think the key thing is that a tax cut or a spending increase are the same thing. It's using some of that balance, using some of that forecasted room for the benefit of Minnesotans. And there's a lot of different ways of doing it. There's a lot of different places to target. I think the important thing right now is to focus on the people who haven't done so well over the last couple of years. Helping the kids who haven't done so well because they've not been in school or they're wearing masks and they haven't had opportunities to get out. It's like there are a lot of people who have had incredibly difficult years, even though we all feel like we've had a couple tough. There's people who have had even harder. And I think that's sort of the question of how do we use this flexibility and target it to make sure that it gets to the right people and keeps our economy going, growing, and moving forward.
So Governor Walz has proposed using some of the surplus in direct rebates to taxpayers, $500 for individuals, $1,000 for married couples. Why is just turning around and giving some of this money back a good idea?
I think the first place is just, people have a lot of costs. There's obviously some pressure on inflation. There's things that we just see in our pocketbooks right now. And so the faster we can help people out, the better. I think the other thing is just, it's been a tough year. It's been a tough couple of years. And so if, you're just making it and you get just a little bit of benefit from your state government to say, hey, you got a good week, got a good month, that's something we can do. And I think that's, really what the governor is looking to do.
Well, potentially helps with the cost of inflation, which is my next question, because everybody's talking about inflation. Inflation is the big unknown. We don't know how much it will increase, whether it can be mitigated in any way. And it does affect every person's life, including state budgets. So, is the state in good shape to weather this storm or any other storms yet to appear on the horizon?
It sure is. And I wouldn't have anticipated that a year and a half ago. When I started, we were in desperate position. We were right at the outset of COVID. We'd done a May update, and the state was looking at potential deficits, potentially draining the budget reserve, structural imbalances. Where are we at today? Our budget reserve is at a high point. We've got forecasted budget surpluses over the next 4 years. And our economy is going strong. So how do we go forward? Yeah, we will have to deal with inflation. It's about the choices, about whether we recognize it, whether we allow for it, and how do we make sure that we get the goods and services and the results that Minnesotans deserve.
Commissioner of Minnesota Management and Budget, Jim Schowalter, thank you.
Thank you.